This next era of American history is from about 1981 to about 2001. And this is a time period that we often refer to as New Federalism. And then this is the pushback to about 70 years of the national government becoming increasingly more powerful. This is a time period in which power is slowly returned back to the state governments from the national government. Uh, in the early 1980s, you saw a wave of Republicans elected to Congress. You also saw the individual on the screen, that's Ronald Reagan, become president. He was president from 1980 to 1988. And often you see the balance of power be a political dividing issue where conservatives, Republicans often are in favor of state rights and returning more power back to the state and local level. And Reagan and many of the Republicans elected during this time period while they were running promised that if they were put into office, it would return power back to state governments. In government terms, this is referred to as devolution, which is giving power from the national government back to the states. And that's what you see during this time period. One of the things that you see, which is different from the previous era, is that you still have grants that are given to the states from the national government. But you definitely have a different type of grant that becomes popular during this era of Republican rule. And these grants are not categorical grants, they're called block grants. And basically, they come with considerably less strings attached. So states still get the money from the national government, but they have much greater choice in how they spend it. The strings aren't quite as tightly attached as they were with categorical grants. So, for example, the national government may provide states with money with the purpose of trying to get people off of welfare and transition back to the workforce. But it's really up to each state when they take the money to decide how to best accomplish that within your state. So the states would much rather accept these block grants from the national government because they come with a lot more freedom in how you spend the money. There's not as many strings attached as what you saw with the categorical grants and the establishment of a minimum drinking age for a state, or like the mile per hour speed limits or something like that, where you only get the money to do exactly what the national government wants. States would always prefer block grants over categorical grants, and you see more of those during this time period. You also see a reduction of what we call unfunded mandates during this time period. One of the things the state governments often gripe about and get upset about is when Congress passes laws that require the states to do something, but they don't provide any funding to accomplish whatever the law requires the state to do. Those are called unfunded mandates. When Congress passes a law that requires the states to do something, but they don't provide any funding to accomplish that. And oftentimes these frustrate the states that already have a difficult time meeting their budget demands. So you see during this time period, the government also implementing less unfunded mandates, less sort of laws that go into place that require the states to accomplish something without providing them with the funding that's necessary to do that. So again, this is a time period where you see power gradually being returned through this devolution process to the state governments from the national government.